4, Germany's Ekaterina Karsten pushing on hard. It's Belarus, Germany and the Czech Republic. Into the now 600 meters gone. All these scholars will now just start to sort of let the nerves settle. This is the opening race of 2005. The winter training behind them, the hours and hours, the days and days, all coming into fruition now for this day. You can see the water here, look at that. That's Karsten there, pushed over by the wind. As we look at it from the right to the left, struggling quite hard there. You can see the breeze on the back of her head as well.
I think these conditions really suit this this athlete, Ekaterina Karsten. She's long, she's quite a cool customer as well. Nothing much really ruffles her, and as a result, she's in one of the hardest lanes as in conditions, and she's just going really from strength to strength. I've seen her sort of walking around. I've seen her competing in the heats and the semi-finals, and I'm sure she'll be glad to know that the reigning Olympic champion Stomperowski from Germany has now retired, so I'm sure she's in it for another 4 years. These athletes at this kind of level don't take up from year to year, you know, they take it up for a full Olympiad, and I'm sure Ekaterina Karsten is thinking, right, this time, this is my Olympiad and I'm going to get this Olympic gold medal.
Ekaterina Karsten from Belarus in lane number 3. Two-time Olympic champion, Atlanta in 1996, Sydney in 2000. She is the silver medalist from Athens last year. She's long and strong and right on top of it now as we pan back, and we can just see the gap now opening up here. Germany's Ekaterina Karsten in lane number 6, comfortably in the silver medal position here, but the Czech Republic's Mirka Napkova, who finished 4th in this event in Athens last year, is not a sculler to be ruled out. Coming up now to the next timing mark, we'll really sort of get a good span across them. We're 1,000 meters down. We're at the halfway mark. The double Olympic champion from Atlanta and Sydney, Ekaterina Karsten, has got the very strong position to be able to look back here. But with single sculling, it could all go wrong in just a stroke, because look at the water here, Gillian, in this third 500 meters. You can just see the water now flipping up. They've got to be clean as they get the blade out of the water. One bad clip slows the boat down.
Definitely. In rowing, you know, we look for the flattest possible conditions. So I'm sure you can gather from what we're saying, these aren't particularly ideal conditions. In fact, my eye was just looking down at the bottom of the screen there to see where Debbie Flood is. And she's crossed the halfway point, a good 20 seconds behind this girl here. And so I guess this just goes to show how difficult it is. Debbie is a very, very confident sculler. She's in this event, Gary. She's just finished her finals at Reading University in physiology and biochemistry. I'm sure she'll be looking at some point in this season to jump into the quad again. You know, I see Debbie more as a crew sculler than a single sculler, so she won't be having a good time out here at all. Poor girl.
So Ekaterina Karsten just leading. She's sculling quite comfortably now. She's down on about 32, 31 strokes per minute. She's really enjoying this. You can see out front here. Now this is slight, I have to say this, with all due respect, this is slight lane, in fact quite lane orientated here in terms of her position. She shouldn't be this far out. I mean, there's no way at this stage of the year that Karsten is a good 20 seconds ahead of Debbie Flood from Great Britain at the halfway mark. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. And as we were saying earlier on, Ekaterina Karsten from Germany in lane 6, on the lane more sheltered from the wind. Again, she was one of the slowest qualifiers to get into this final, and here she is in second place. So it just, you know, that's a reflection really on the conditions.
500 meters now remain in the final of the women's single scull here, the opening regatta of the 2005 Bearing Point Rowing World Cup Series. The double Olympic champion from Atlanta and Sydney, Ekaterina Karsten from Belarus, has pretty much led from the first stroke here. Quite difficult conditions, reasonably unfair. Belarus in lane number 3, Great Britain's Debbie Flood in lane number 1 got dropped out of the pack in the first 10 strokes and really has struggled since then. But a lane order, Great Britain in lane number 1. She would be at the top of your picture if we saw her. Coming down, France in 2, Belarus in 3, the Czech Republic in 4, Russia in 5, and Germany's Ekaterina Karsten in lane number 6. 4 times Olympic champion in crew boats.
I think today is going to be, for all crews, today is going to be about tactics off the start. You know, if you're drawn in one of the outside lanes, one of the unfavoured lanes, then you're going to have to show all your cards on the first 500, the first 1,000 metres, and then take the race from there on in, because it's just, I think, sort of any race plan that you have had up your sleeve all week is just gone out the window, and you just have to go for it in this first 250, first 500 metres in order to get your nose in front at some point.
Gillian, just telling you, looking at the splits through the 1,500 metre mark, Debbie Flood was 35 seconds down on Ekaterina Karsten. I mean, it's just unheard, isn't it, really?
Well, it is, and it's one of those things that once you get caught up in a bad lane, you know, you start to catch crabs, the whole technique thing.
What do you do? What is, you know, when you get into this, is her opening regatta for a big year here. She gets into the first 10 strokes and she's just down. But looking out front, Ekaterina Karsten from Belarus comes up to the line here in the opening race, the opening round of the 2005 Rowing World Cup Series. She wins in first place. Czech Republic's Mirka Napkova gets the silver medal. And from Germany, Kathleen Boron, the 4-time Olympic champion, gets the bronze medal. Look at the spread as we come across here. Over the line, Livina from Russia, then coming in 5th place, France's Sophie Balmari. And I have to say to you now that Deb